One politician can spell devastation for the entire world. On 2nd April 2025, Donald Trump announced his presidential tariffs. He imposed tariffs on more than 90 countries, and in his typical dramatic way, he said no more.
Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore.
In his opinion, the rest of the world has been looting America for a long time. America, the richest country in the world, was being ripped off by the rest of the world. Once he announced this, share markets all over the world crashed. Within a week, trillions of dollars were lost, and the world is in danger of a global recession.
The world teeters on the edge of a potential global recession.
Monday, the 7th of April, was the worst day for the stock market. Whether in Hong Kong or Taiwan, China or Japan, Germany or the UK or the US, the stock market fell drastically everywhere. Some people have made accusations of stock market manipulation. When he suddenly imposed tariffs, the stock market fell. But the day the tariffs were removed that morning, he tweeted this: "This is a great time to buy." He knew that as soon as the tariffs would be lifted, the stock market would go up again. As soon as he announced the pause of the tariffs, the stock market suddenly shot up. The strange and childish way that things have been handled here can be seen from this example. On 2nd April, Donald Trump imposed a 34% tariff on China. 2 days later, in response to this, China imposed 34% tariffs on America. Trump did not like this, so he told China to withdraw their newly imposed tariffs. If they don't, he said that he will impose another 50%.
If that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on.
But China is adamant on its stance. On 9th April, America imposes a further 50% tariff on China. And in response to this, China imposes another 50% tariff on America. This trade war is hidden from no one. Let's begin with the basics. What is a tariff? A tariff is a type of tax. This tax is imposed on goods imported from abroad. For example, if you buy a smartphone made outside the US, like an iPhone in the US, then a 145% import tax is imposed on it by the US government. Import tax is a type of tariff. Things like clothes attract a 0 to 37.5% import duty. Import duty is also a type of tariff. There are mainly two reasons behind imposing tariffs. First, to boost the government's revenue. Like the other taxes, this is a source of government's income. And the second reason is to protect local industries. Since by imposing tariffs, goods imported from foreign countries become expensive, and the domestically produced goods remain comparatively cheaper. So people are incentivized to buy more of the domestic products. That's how local industries get an advantage. Many countries impose tariffs because of this. And there's nothing wrong with this. In fact, if tariffs are imposed smartly, then it helps the country's economy. For example, take South Korea. There, during the 1980s and 1990s, the farmers were facing a lot of difficulties. The farmers didn't have access to modern technology, so the prices at which they could sell their rice in their country was much higher than the cost of imported rice from America, Thailand, and Vietnam. So to protect the livelihoods of South Korean farmers, South Korea imposed tariffs strategically. They imposed a limit up to which rice could be imported into their country without any tariffs. But if the import of rice exceeded that limit, it'd be subjected to high tariffs, as high as 500% or more. Consequently, the imported rice became more expensive, and South Korean farmers could get the opportunity to remain competitive. To understand this issue properly, let's first understand what tariffs are. Most people think tariffs are some kind of tax imposed on other countries, but in reality, it is a kind of import duty that applies only to products imported into the United States. For example, if America imposes a 26% tariff on India, it means that products coming from India will be taxed at 26% in the US. Similarly, according to Donald Trump's list, Pakistan was imposed with a 29% tariff, and at the top of the list was China, with a 34% tariff. Now, since the tariff has been imposed by America, it means that goods coming from other countries to the US will be taxed, making them more expensive in America, which will reduce their sales in the US, and people will prefer to buy locally manufactured items. For example, fabric from India and Pakistan is sold in American markets, but this fabric can also be produced there. Due to the tax, there will be a decline in sales of textile industries from India and Pakistan. But the one to be most affected by Trump's imposed tariffs will be China. In fact, it is being said that Donald Trump's actual target was China. This is because until the year 2000, American products were sold all over the world. The status that China holds now was once held by the United States. But over time, not just the US, but the entire world's business shifted to China. Now, even the smallest items are made in China and exported to every corner of the world. Due to cheap labor, China can produce products so inexpensively that it can easily compete with international market prices. Globally, China is dominating nearly the entire world with its products, and local industries are declining. If we look at just US-China trade, in the year 2000, America imported goods worth $80 billion from China, and in the same year, China imported goods worth $10 billion from America. As of 2025, the condition is that America annually imports goods worth $440 billion from China, whereas China imports only $145 billion worth of goods from the US. Donald Trump says that this trade should be equal, meaning if we are buying $440 billion worth of goods from China, then China should also buy the same amount from us. Now the real question is, which side is stronger in this trade war? Whoever survives longer will win. If we look at it logically, the US mostly imports tech items from China: mobiles, laptops, electronics, or toys. If America stops importing these for a while, it wouldn't make a massive difference. Or if they import them from elsewhere, the worst-case scenario is that they'll be a bit more expensive. But China imports something from the US that is almost essential to its survival. Yes, and that product might create a major issue for China in the coming months. Let's understand this. China has a population of 1.41 billion, about 315% more than America. Naturally, feeding such a huge population requires a lot of food. The most basic needs are wheat and rice. But the issue is, China has only 13% of its total area as agricultural land. That means, per person, there's only 0.23 acres of land available. This land is primarily used for growing wheat and rice, just to meet the basic food needs so they don't have to import them. In China, pork is consumed in huge quantities, so much so that China has the highest pig farming numbers in the world. According to 2024 records, there are over 400 million pigs in China, more than the entire population of the US. Meanwhile, the US has become more of a consumer market. It has a lot of options to purchase goods, if not from China, then from somewhere else. During his previous term, Trump also imposed tariffs on China, and it clearly showed that China was losing that round. The same is expected this time too. What's your opinion on all of this? Do let me know in the comment section below. Hope you liked and shared this WWII TV video as always. See you in another great video.